right, now let me bring to you my conversation with my very special guest today, Professor Edmond Delle, Chairman, National Chairman of the Convention People's Party. He's been speaking to me earlier. It's been a while. What have you been up to?
Well, I say that when you are going for a boxing tournament or anything, you prepare.
Okay.
Even like the plane, before you go into the air, you have to make sure the engineers are there. You put it. So CPP, even though you haven't heard much from us, it's because we are on the ground now, preparing to lift up our banner and know that this time around, people should take us very seriously. We are building up the CPP from the grassroots. And I think we are the first party. We decided that, look, we have problems with the registration of party members. You go to a congress, there are 5, 6, or 20,000 people at the congress hall. And when it comes to the elections, you don't perform well. And then after the elections, even you go around, there is nobody there. CPP has learned a lesson.
Isn't it perhaps something that tells you that perhaps it's time for the CPP to, you know, just close the chapter because it's over for you, really?
CPP, Nkrumah never dies. CPP never dies.
Yes, Nkrumah never dies. But CPP can die.
No, CPP will never die.
Why not?
Why should it die?
But already we're seeing signs of death.
No, CPP will not die. You know that no matter what has happened in the Convention People's Party, it will stay on long after some of us are dead and buried, because the seed was sown by the founder of this country, and in his grave, he wouldn't like his party to die. And don't forget this one thing, Ghanaians don't remember, where was NPP? For 30 years they were in the wilderness. You see their history. Were they in power? It took them 30 years for them to come up again as they are now to win elections. So CPP, we have not been in the wilderness for even 20 years. Because don't forget that PNC, PNP came to power after just 6 months of organization, and we came, but it was because of the coup that we have had our problems. And in fact, if probably Dr. Hilary Liman hadn't died, CPP would have been a totally different party from.
But he's dead now. Now what we have is what's the present.
I'm saying it. Let us know what is happening.
Okay.
We had signed a document uniting all Nkrumah's parties together, and we went to the Arts Council. I was there.
This was in January? I heard in January the talk started for the 2016 elections, and that you were having a conversation with the CPP and the PNC, other parties as well.
We are not talking. I'm giving you a short history before we come to this.
Okay.
I told you before Liman died, he had come, talked to everybody, and all the early party members and the different groups, PHP, and we all signed that. At the Arts Council, we went there and signed a document that we're a united party. It was after the death of Liman that agreement went to. So then we started again, 1992. This was supposed, Rabito Clinic, where you are sitting now, was the center of unity talks for the CPP. We had the Nkrumah's Unity Caucus. We made sure that NIP, PPP, the Kwesi Pras Party, PHP, we came together and formed the PCP.
It didn't work, did it?
Oh, we can't say it didn't work. We were able to get the NCP to come and join us, and we formed the Convention Party. Then we went to court and struggled and got our name back, Convention People's Party. Since then, we are all aware that the fortunes of the Convention People's Party have been dwindling, almost in consonance with all the old parties in the whole continent. See Kenya, what happened to Kenyatta? But then, with hard work and consciousness, he has been able to bring the farthest party up, and he won elections. So it is possible in Ghana that we can build up and we can pick up power in the country.
And based on that, what people have said, lots of people have said, is that if all the so-called Nkrumah's parties can come together, then you would have a strong foundation to be able to be the third force that a lot of Ghanaians seems to be looking forward to, but we're not having it now. CPP had Dr. Endum. Dr. Endum has now PPP. Assuming, without admitting, that he does believe in the Nkrumah's ideals, why don't you all just come together and just work it out, become the third force?
Don't be worried. I can tell you convincingly that Dr. Endum invited me to a meeting between he and myself. And he told me clearly that he's open for us to see how best we can come together, because otherwise we'll all be wasting our time. Because
certainly.
Nkrumah
and your money
was
too.
the founder, and the money too. So I think before 2020, you know, what makes us not to unite actually is because we start the unity talks very late, very, very late. But this time around, you know that we have decided that we have 2-3 years, and within a year or two, we should come together without any serious conditions.
In January, I'm told that some talks started. Greenstreet was supposed to be a running mate to Dr. Edward Mahama of the PNC. Bernard Mona says there were meetings upon meetings, and then at some point, all the talks broke down.
Well, what I'm saying is that I was actually, of all the chairmen, I'm the elderly man. So I used to meet, we'll talk about it. And at the last minute, we tried to come together to see.
Why did it not work?
It did not work in a sense that the time we were taking the decision was too short. And how far we had gone with the campaign, you see, projecting a Greenstreet, going over the place to tell green, it's all green, you know. It was going to be very difficult at that moment to say that you step down and be a vice president to PNC. And of course, it was a very clear thing. It came about this our debating on the either CPP or PNC. Because PNC said, okay, they are prepared to take the name CPP.
Yes.
If we will allow them.
And Bernard Mona actually said that he was ready to let go of his position and let anybody who was interested in being the chairman of that group be as well. So, and one of the things that he said is that for him, it seems that it's greed and people wanting to hold on to their little positions in these little parties. That's what's stalling the major talks.
Well, that's
you
his
wouldn't
opinion.
agree with that?
Greed on the part of a person like me. When I started,
well, he doesn't mention names,
yes,
but he just said generally.
I'm telling that when I started politics in '62, he wasn't born. I'm 74 now. I've gone through this for a very long time. And we are all praying that one day, before we give up, we'll get them together. So I don't think that it's a question of greed or something like that. It's just that we start the elections, the talks very late.
Okay.
So when you have gone for elections and you are elected your presidential candidate, it is very difficult for you to. So that is why we said this is the only time that we have. For the next year, 12 months, we should be able to decide, one, whether we are coming together.
Just for that election?
Just for that election.
Or forever?
Or forever. And I think that it is possible.
Okay.
Because all we can do now is that, one, I've been in it for a long time. If you tell people to change their party, you want CPP to die and use another name, we have problems. So for me, my take is that if people want to win elections, get together. It has happened in the Gambia. It's happened. We are coming together. We agree to select one as our presidential candidate. And then when you win power, you can decide to do anything, change your name and do that. So my take is that instead of going to these long talks, someone will say, no, without the cockerel, I don't want to be part. PNC says without this, no. Let us agree that we are forming the third force. That does not necessarily mean that you should lose your identity. Okay. You come together, and then we agree that we are going. So
as you said, 2 years. Maybe you're taking the next 2 years. So
yes,
we'll be keeping our eyes on that and see how successful.
Within a year.
Within a year.
Really anxious to do it, we come together.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping our eyes on it to see how successful you are with it. But in the meantime, you are 74, and I take it that you get to see a lot of people, your compatriots, people who you started the party, you started politics with around a lot. And people have said that the CPP is really a party for the old people. When you mention CPP, sometimes in a conversation with contemporary, young people, they sometimes laugh it off and stuff. What is happening within the CPP? As chairman, what is it that you're doing within the CPP to make it a bit more attractive?
See, what CPP is attractive, as far as I'm concerned. I think people have just tagged us as old people. But you can't.
But you are old.
Yeah, you can't. I'm not old.
What I can 74. You're older than the president.
It has nothing to do with age. Age is a number.
Well, maybe some of people.
Age is a number. It has nothing.
People who have the experience, the knowledge, all that you have learned over the years. Maybe people like you should sit back. And what do you say to people who say you should sit back and advise the young people? Look for young people to occupy the position. Sit back and advise them.
We have the young people around us. We are not the only people there. We have Greenstreet. He's 50. We gave him the chance to be the presidential candidate. Chairmanship is for a person mature enough to be able to bring people together.
Okay.
So it depends upon where you are. And then you never can tell. You see, you need somebody who has that capacity to bring people together.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with age.
With age.
I don't think that, how old is Trump now? How old is Trump? Who knows? How old is the French person? So it has nothing to do with age. The Queen Elizabeth is there. How old is Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah, she's just a ceremonial, ceremonial leader.
It's not a ceremonial leader. She's a leader.
So it's for you. It's not about the age.
For me, it's not.
But then
about
it's beyond the age.
What is happening is that we are trying as much as possible to encourage the youth to come, and they have come.
What are you doing to do that, to attract them?
What we do is that we are now educating them about the party. And what people don't understand is that people will say, oh, as for the youth don't understand CPP because the time is about 50, 60 years ago. Let it die. Forget about that. Tell them what their needs now. And I say, yes, well and good. But the strongest thing in any organization is your history.
Okay, so you're trying to market the history.
Ask even the military. That when they go to war, they are reading about their conquest of previous years to encourage the young people to do it. So what we are doing is that we educate them about this is the party which brought independence to Ghana. This is the party which brought the education.
So that's the strategy now.
So they have then we tell them this is the heritage you have. Okay. But now you come. Go on the ground and find out what are the needs of the people. Okay. And I don't think there is a party which has that heritage we have. Nkrumah said, go to the people, sit with them, know what they want, and build from it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as a politician, even looking around the whole world, that we rather want to bring proposals to the people when we should go to the grassroots and bring what their needs are. Okay. So I think the youth have picked up that idea, and we are telling them that let's go on the ground, talk to the people, and build from the ground and come. And as for positions, if the young people want it, we don't have an objection.
Okay, now
so there should be no objection.
All the parties seem to be talking reorganization. We understand that the CPP is also doing its own reorganization. Is the CPP within? Is it divided among itself within the CPP?
There is no party where there is no division. What you see is that there are groupings in every party, but that is the essence of a leader. That you should be able to get these little groupings come together for a main purpose. And that is done. So when people think about divisions in parties and this, I laugh. There is no party in this world where there are no trends.
How are you dealing with yours?
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the trend.
Because you said that one of the things that you do is to be able to bring the people, bring people together. So, but we know that there are certainly issues within the party that you're trying to. How are you dealing with them?
Talking to them, bringing them together, telling them that, look, this is the way we want to go. Bring your ideas and we build together. And I think it isn't the making of noise that makes you to know, because the best thing sometimes in these things is to do it quietly. And then look, one of the things I've started, and I'm anxious about it, because I've realized that we don't have dedicated party members. And it's not in the CPP. It's even with the NDC. So you can hear, we started at first to say, let's scrap our membership. The old membership is, cards are dead and buried. Because we can't explain why we go for elections. You have our 20, 30,000 card bearers, and you go for elections and
you get nothing. You get close to nothing.
It is one of the reasons for it is that people just go and take the party card. They don't contribute. They don't even contribute anything to the party. And I said, if you love the party, own it. Here are the party cards. Come and pay. Take the party card. Every month, a city. 2 cities you have paid. So you own it. You own the party yourself. And you have a say. You can come and say, no, this is my party. But you see, our problem in Ghana is that people are not prepared to support the party. They leave it for 1 or 2 people who go and find the money and come. And then you want to tell me that these are dictators. So we sell our liberty, our freedom to those who have the money. And I want this, as long as I'm alive, this should stop. Let everyone who is really a CPP man become a register. This is my card, 5 cedis. No matter how poor I am, I'll come
I want to contribute so I can own it.
So I can own it.
Do you think that lack of dedication is because there are people within the party that are torn along NPP NDC lines? This is quite something we see in most of the small parties.
Oh, this one we have to accept that it is a fact.
That people are NDC and NPP within the CPP.
No, what is happening is that it's real. You will see that, and that is what I'm saying. Then you come to elections, you go to some of the constituencies, your executives are nowhere to be found. And I want that one to stop in the CPP, because when we register, we have your picture, we have this one, and you have helped to build it up. Definitely. You are proud of being an owner, because I go around to the elderly people whom they say CPP is full of. 1962, he'll come with you with his proud card. This is my CPP. This is what I was paid. So you are financially, you can come and talk.
Because you have paid something.
Paid something. But some don't want to contribute for anything, and yet they want the party to be accountable. How can they be accountable? Because as is well said, democracy is expensive.
How are your executives in the party doing?
Oh, we have collaboration. They are doing well. We talk to each other, and we know what is happening. Of course, it is a party. It's a voluntary organization. If you don't feel you are not happy with it, you are free to go, and it doesn't. It doesn't.
But they say politics, you know, is all about the numbers. So if you say you're not happy, you're really
no. What I'm saying is that is also one of those categorical mistakes we have. Is numbers for what? It is rather better.
Win you the elections.
No. It is rather better to. The American War of Independence was won by 12 people who put their heads. They were prepared to die for America. Then the other people came, and that is what we should think of. You get a few core of people who are prepared to
die for the party.
To die for the party, and that is what happens. Then the others follow. So it isn't a question of numbers. Numbers for what? Numbers, quality is the thing, quality. A number, you have a crowd, and then as soon as you see there is an incentive, they vanish from the place.
That's for you, it's not good.
That is for me. Let us have a core of people who are prepared to make sacrifices for the party, who are prepared to do, and you will see gradually the others will come on. So for me, this idea of numbers, of course, those dedicated people showing how dedicated they are prepared to make sacrifices for the party. They are prepared to join us to go from house to house or to explain our policies to them. And not the way we are doing it. I want us to go and find out from the people what are their needs. What do they think of? What are their problems? And on the strength of that, we build our manifesto. This is what is the People's Manifesto. CPP. We call it a People's Manifesto, not just what you want.
Right. What's the relationship between you and Samia Nkrumah?
I don't have a problem with her. She explained she was not satisfied with the elections, and so because of that, which made me very sad, because you see, in the world, sometimes we have to be honest. We have to tell the truth.
I think we should be honest all the time.
Yes, yes. Nobody does politics without using money. The person is going to lie. Our politics in Ghana and all over the world is cash. And people look for somebody who is capable of financing the party, which is wrong. In my opinion, is wrong. Because if we all come together and we are really sincere,
we can raise the money.
We can raise some money.
I mentioned her because you indicated you referred to Kenya and what Uhuru Kenyatta has done. And don't you think that having her closer would help the fortunes of the party?
You see, don't let us miss. Yes, and that is her due, her feeling. You see, party is a voluntary organization. You cannot force. But I thought and I believe that she's somebody. If she thinks about what she can do for the party, she should come she should come up. I have nothing against.
Okay. Okay, we're going to wrap up the conversation about the CPP and its reorganization and what you're doing to make the party a lot more attractive. But 2 of your executives were suspended. Is there an update on it?
Well, the matter is now in the hands of the Council of Elders, who are trying to see if they can resolve it in an amicable way. Okay.
Well, I wish you all the best with CPP, and we hope to see. There are people actually who like the CPP, but they get furious, especially when they see how the so-called Nkrumah's parties are torn, all over the place in bits, and they think that you should do better.
To them, I tell them that it is unfair to us. If I love the party, I go. I'm 74, but I started party politics as a young pioneer in 1962, and I'm still there. I walk to the villages at my age, go from house to house talking. So they cannot sit on the
on the fence and be criticizing people who are actually doing the work.
So you come, and we are prepared to sit down. And I'm one of the first persons who said, "Look, my brother, you can do it. You take it, and I will support you." So they should come. Instead of criticizing, enter and you see. And every politician will tell you that it is easy to criticize people when they are in power. When you are given the chance, then you say, "Oh, I wish I had known earlier." Yes,
okay, so I'm having a conversation with Professor Edmond Delle. He is the national chairman of the CPP. Obviously, we've been talking about CPP and the kind of reorganization that's going on. They're hoping to make it really attractive to some of you who are looking for that third force besides the NPP and the NDC. A lot of skeptics say this would never happen, but we'll see how it goes. Let's move on from there and talk about the CPP's position on a few national issues. Prof, let me find out, what's your position on the 2018 budget?
Unfortunately, I was out of the country on some international affairs to talk to people about the Convention, People's Party, Socialist International. They want to know what we are doing, to talk to our friends and tell them about how we are trying to reorganize as a party.
So generally, for example, for the civil society organizations, some of them have generally said that, well, it's a good one, but they feel that there are some cuts to the allocation to critical sectors like health, education, etc. What is the general, you must have heard things. I mean, within the CPP, people must have said things. What is the general position, generally?
I think generally, CPP would say that there are things that the government is proposing, which somebody has said that Nana Akufo-Addo, I think he was an Nkrumah when he was at the school. He was a socialist.
Was he?
Yes, with Dr. Professor Bochu. So at least he imbibed some of this. And you can see that some of the things he's doing, trying to go to the rural areas, establish things there. For somebody in the CPP, we definitely would not have, because that's what we did when we were in power. We made sure that we wanted industrialization in the rural areas. I'm from the north, I'm from London. And we wanted our tomato factories and these things so that people would be there. So anything on that line is not, but we question that, is it not biting? more than he can. Putting too much into them. Can he really chew it and digest it? Because these are expensive programs. They cost a lot. And you see, when you let the hopes of the people go very high, and then you are not able to carry it out.
But that's the promise they made to the people, and the people voted for them.
Yes, but that is what I'm saying. Yes, and that
so
is
you have
also,
fears.
And that is, I have the fears that, you see, this is promise. Of course, a politician will always promise, but it comes when you face the realities.
So generally, would you say that the comments, the sort of comments that you've heard about the budgets, generally you'd say that it's a good one, or bad, or average?
I think that it's
average.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say it's an average budget.
Okay.
I have not got the details.
Let's look at the governance in general. One of the key things that a lot of people will remember in the first year of the NPP's administration is vigilantism, and how so-called groups within the parties have, so to speak, taken the law into their own hands, and people have not been happy about it. The party itself seems to be struggling to deal with it. What's the CPP's position on this?
Our position is really that it has come as a shock to some of us, a shock to me in person, knowing that they are the lawyers' party. They talk of constitutionalism, and they should know this. Now, to find a group going almost to harass a judge, and to do that, and then you go and do this. No, it is made us to find out that, but it's because people don't know about the history of the NPP. Bougia, an intellectual, somebody we knew was this one. But when they came, what did they say? No court, no court. So it is not something new to us, those of us who are in the game for a long. It's not new. That some of these will definitely happen. Because one thing is preaching. But
what we're seeing in the NPP's administration and with those young guys, I mean, is this something that I think it's quite historic, isn't it? The rate at which we've seen the kind of harassment, so to speak, from these so-called vigilante groups within the party. In the north alone, there's been threats to the school feeding program there. Apart from what happened in Kumasi, the president went there, said this will not happen again. A few moments he said that another happened. It's quite alarming.
No, you see, and that comes to what I'm telling you, the promises we make. To win elections, you make promises. In fact, the promises are so juicy that, and of course, people have to fight to let you win. And if the people fight and you promise them that when you come to power, you are going to take care of them, and you are not taking care of them, definitely they will react.
Assuming the CPP was in power and this was happening, what would you have advised the president to do?
No, it wouldn't happen in the convention.
Let's assume it happens.
No, CPP, we are a disciplined party. CPP will not tolerate that.
But if it did happen, what will you do?
When it happens that CPP being a disciplinary council will go and deal with you without fear or favor, no matter who you are. That's what I always say that.
What do you think about the way the NPP is dealing with it at the moment?
I don't think we are happy about it, because I think I can't even think of it happening in the CPP. You get instruction from the chairman of your party or this one, action should be taken using even the party's rules and regulations, because they are acting in that way because they are members of the NPP. Tell them, take their membership away. Tell them from today onwards you are known, because if you are doing things contrary to the rules of the party, something that brings disgrace to your party,
but that will even make them more agitated. If you should just say from now on you're no longer a member, after they say they have put their lives on the line for you.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that this is where discipline is discipline. It's better rather to get this thing and pay for it than that, because if you do that, it is because they are still members of the party, and so they can do that. But when Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, his best friends, when the crisis came, and he sacked all of them. CPP remained.
Times have changed, you know.
Well, times that change, but discipline doesn't change. There are certain laws which are immutable. Discipline is, and that is one of the beings of our society.
How would you rate
Times have changed. Times have changed. No discipline. Young people have no respect for the elders. People do what they want and say times have changed. Times haven't changed in any way. There are certain principles, and there are certain things in life which are immutable. They have nothing to do with it. Is human beings who have created things. It's like bad and good. You don't need God to come and tell you that this is bad or this is good. It is the history of man. Man has gone through and said that no, it's better to be kind to your neighbor than to be unkind. It's better to help your neighbor than to do this. So this is not only for those of us who are Christians or this one. It is the history of man. That history tells us that don't ill-treat your neighbor. History tells us that to be honest is better than to be dishonest. So these things are, it has nothing even to do with party. Discipline is discipline. There is no organization. If you are afraid of this, then it means society is affected. And in the long run, what do you do? So because you are afraid that people are going to do that, you allow them to go and chase people out of their offices. And you say you are afraid that it will be worse. It will be worse than what?
Okay.
You have control of the situation. You have the military in your hands. You have this one. So as for being firm on certain issues, of course, it is true that you tell society to help you. But it is the party rules and regulations which must be respected first. And this
so
is
once they don't respect that, you throw them out of the party.
If they don't respect you, you can't use that to embarrass the party. At least in our constitution, it's very clear. Anybody from the party, from the chairman to the last person, who does something to bring the party's repute in disgrace, you are automatically sacked from the party. So you cannot come and tell me you need something from the party again.
That's quite harsh, isn't it?
But sometimes some of these, it is because sometimes we are not bold enough to take certain decisions. We prolong, and we find ourselves in the crisis.
It's blown up in our faces.
So we blows on our faces.
So you basically would advise, if the president came to you for advice, you basically would tell him to sign, or to let the party, advise the party, the NPP, for example, to get these guys who are found to be in those vigilante groups to be expelled from the party.
Oh, there are party regulations there. They have. Take them to the party. Don't bring it even to the public.
Okay.
It's a party. Right. And if it's a party which is based on law and order, don't even get other people involved. You just call them to the party. Let them read the party regulations and you try to tell them that, look, our party is a disciplined party.
Okay.
It's a party of law and order, and you have no justification. You can come to the party and tell us that we are not happy about these things. We'll listen to you. We might even think of which way we can assist you.
Right.
But if you take it in your own hands and now you make the nation to suffer, are you helping that party?
Having said that, how would you rate Nana Akufo-Addo's presidency so far?
Well,
or his governance?
I think what has made some of us to become, it is, as you rightly said, is this as if he is a head who has problem in actually taking decisions and be prepared to pay for the consequences. Because in leadership...
That's the impression you get of him.
Yes, yes. In leadership, sometimes these are some of the things which come to me. I would rather take a decision and lose my position than to allow things that, no matter what good you are doing, but when people get to realize that you are somebody who cannot take a firm decision on certain issues, because
you think it's indecisive?
It's not CPP, NPP alone who voted for him. It's a majority of Ghanaians.
But you think that the president is indecisive?
I think that there are certain things that he must take a decision. And once that decision is right, Ghanaians will support him.
On a scale of 1 to 10 or 100%, where would you put him?
I'll give him 6.
60 or 6?
6.
Well, that's a pass.
It's not bad.
That's a pass, isn't it?
At least
so he's doing well as far as you're concerned.
He's not doing too badly, but I wish
he could do better.
His experience that he has, what he has gone through, his knowledge, and
that he could do better.
He should go to. He should be 9.
He should be 9.
Yes,
okay, rather than the 6 he's getting at the moment. My conversation there with Professor Edmond Delle. Right now, though, it's time for Sports on the Pulse.